Earth, the mother planet of humanity, the third rock from the sun, the cradle of all civilizations, and many other names, all describe the planet we call Earth, just a tiny speck in the galaxy budget. But Earth is the only place we know for sure that contains life. It makes us special, and what allows us to still exist on this rock. And when will this rock go away? These are the stories we will tell together. Earth. The solar system is a system of planets, moons governed by the star that humanity named the Sun. There are several different hypotheses about how it came to be. However, the most widely accepted is the nebula hypothesis. Scientists believe that the nebular cloud would gradually lose its gravitational influence and bring the materials within it closer together. Over hundreds of years, the materials gathered into a mass and began nuclear fusion reactions as they slammed into each other. From there, a star was born. From the star's power, its gravity increased and different materials were drawn into orbit around it. Heavier materials were drawn closer, and while lesser clouds like gases were blown farther out by solar winds. From the heavy materials, bodies began to form and create their own gravity, pulling smaller materials with them as they grew, eventually forming rocky planets or terrestrial planets. Meanwhile, the lighter gaseous clouds would coalesce with other clouds and form the gas giants. In the solar system, the rocky terrestrial planets closest to the central star include Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. With these rocky bodies, heavier materials like iron and other metals sank towards the planet's core due to gravity. The differentiation of heavy and light materials created convection currents, bringing lighter materials up to the surface and forming the crust. The materials inside could not separate from each other due to the immense pressure of gravity, causing them to become flowing streams of molten magma, constantly erupting. In the hundreds of millions of years after its formation, a small mass-sized planet named Freya strayed from its orbit and collided with the third planet. A massive impact fundamentally changed the composition and geology of both. Planet Theia was left as a pile of molten debris and gifted most of its core materials to Earth. Meanwhile, the rest formed into two moonlets. The moonlets closer to Earth had enough gravity and influence over the smaller outer moonlet. In no time, the materials afterwards came back to Earth due to its gravity. Qualifying the larger moonlet after the collision, it had become the beautiful Earth. However, controversy to the now bigger brother of the smaller moonlet had been the unfortunate oneless nightfall. Cast far out, becoming a satellite of this planet with an elliptical orbit around it. From here, the moon was born. However, besides the birth of the moon, the collision also affected Earth as its axis of rotation was knocked off by about 23 degrees, and it has constantly tried to find balance ever since, causing Earth to wear its comets venture. After the incident occurred, the planet's structure became relatively stable. The hot materials continued flowing inside the planet core. Because of the metal core to always flow, the magnetic field began to form and created flows of magnetic field from the two poles. Thanks to the magnetic field, the planet began to be able to resist energy waves from the sun. However, the planet was still a hot, radioactive magma world at this point. The surface temperature was still around 4,700 degrees C. Radioactive materials were still scattered everywhere. Luckily, in the next hundreds of millions of years, the planet's mass created enough gravity to pull gases within the surrounding planetary system back to it. Gradually, it became a thin gaseous envelope on the planet's surface. This insulating layer was protected by the magnetic field generated from the hot iron crumble, preventing it from being swept away by solar winds. From there, this planet had a solid crust to protect the molten interior. The molten interior moved to generate a magnetic field, and the magnetic field was protected by the atmosphere. Additionally, in the process of formation, this planet had to undergo many encounters with other celestial bodies. Among those were frozen comets of high-quality ice transported directly from space to here. With the planet's heat plus the dense atmosphere that prevented water vapor from escaping into space, clouds began to form and brought water everywhere in the fall of rain. From a hot, radioactive planet, rain atmosphere helped cool it down over the next hundreds of millions of years. Around 3.8 billion years ago, the planet's temperature gradually decreased and began allowing the existence of life. Meanwhile, as the whole story happened, the mass of water helped the planet concentrate and make way to thanks to Earth's and the moon's centrifugal forces guiding the tides with their gravity. From the periodic coordination of water, more land began to emerge and became the first address of the blue planet, called Ganymede. After a few 100 million more years, the temperature continued dropping along with the planet's tilt, creating seasons for Earth. Not to mention the ethics of Earth also changed continuously from an elliptical to circular shape or vice versa, creating change in coming climate over time. Thanks to that, pieces of land that used to be water turned into continents and vice versa, bringing about the first signs of life or evolution and development. The first single-celled organisms appeared, followed by multi-celled and tiny species capable of living on land began emerging after millions of more years. They moved around to find food, new sources of life in their process of living. However, since the planet's crust was also just large pieces of rock drifting on rivers of magma, tectonic plates began shifting, creating volcanoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, and cutting paths that once connected addresses to each other. Some organisms found in new lands could no longer find their way back and became endemic species in that locality, and so the blue planet was completed. Along the other planets in the solar system, life had emerged, and it incrementally increased thanks to gravitational and cosmic stability. However, would this be the eternal journey of this planet? Will it forever remain green and harbor and life never exists forever in Kingdom the blue planet? Or at least its blueness does not last forever. Like all other planets in the solar system, revolves around its nearest star. With Earth specifically, what makes it more special is its sisters in the region, as they are in the safest area for life, also known as the habitable zone. This is the area just warm enough and just cool enough for life to exist. Unlike Venus, which is too close and scorched every day, or Neptune that is frozen for eternity. However, this position will also be the VIP seat to a case that the sun falls into the last days of its life. Like any other star, the sun will also come a day when it has to age, burning through all the energy it has and turning into a red giant. The sun's opulence will scorch every planet near it. And of course, that includes our blue planet. The sun's dawn will be the day species have to face death. However, Earth will still exist, not destroyed, only losing its atmosphere and blue hue on its outer shell. Another case is when the solar system passes through an area of unstable forces. For example, another star within the Nilo galaxy budget. The free body problem in cosmic forces has always been a difficult equation for astronomers. When there are competing gravitational forces of three entities with each other in mass, their forces will cause them to have unpredictable orbits, leading to possibly situation where a planetary body will escape the system and leave the remaining two planets to orbit each other. And if one day the solar system passes through another solar system, the planets will often come together on no problems. Because if the worst case happens, Earth may move out of the solar system, becoming a rogue planet. This is when Earth will have to fly solo in the galaxy instead of taking the school-go solar system like other sister planets. Where the sun inside, where Earth will gradually cool and even the oceans will become frozen ground. The moon may still be with us, but at that point it's like an attached character to a planet without a title. And needless to say, this is a Disney doomsday for humanity. Apart from the above two questions, are there any other endings for this rock perhaps? Perhaps when a Lord, a body capable of coming from the Kuiper Belt strikes and destroys the entire planet, we will handle the mission like the day the moon was born. However, this is still only a rare unlikely event. And even if it happens, we will still have Earth, just humanity will no longer exist anymore. No matter what, the blue planet will still exist in the cosmos, even if it's burnt, flung out into space, or struck by other planets. Only us tiny creatures are the ones easily eliminated. Therefore, instead of saying let's look for this planet, let's say please look for humanity. And that was the story of Earth, about the day it was born and the day that tiny creatures living on it have to depart. What do you think? Do we really have any significance in the immense space and time of this universe? And can we survive long enough to see Earth fall into peril anyway? Thank you for watching. If you like content like this, then don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell to not miss any videos. Thank you for listening and see you again. Peace.